Now, as I said, Joe DiGenova is on the line. He's our legal analyst, former U.S. Attorney to the District of Columbia. Joe, the Obamacare architect was on Fox News Sunday this week. Now, after we have heard that, if you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan, and we found out that wasn't true, it now is also true that if you like your doctor, you can't necessarily keep your doctor unless you're willing to pay more. It's like nothing they told us about Obamacare turned out to be correct.
Well, the wonderful thing about Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel is that he has become the face and voice of arrogance about Obamacare. This guy, I hope they keep sending him out, because every time he goes on television, he creates a wave of anger about the law and reminds people about why they lied, that this is a mission. This is not about health care. This is about remaking 1/6 of the economy and turning it over to the government. And the tragedy of this is that this wasn't necessary. But people like Ezekiel Emanuel and the little member of Congress from Beverly Hills who started all of this is exactly why we're in the mess we're in. But as I said, I hope they keep sending out the mad scientist, Dr. Emanuel, because his arrogance is so palpable that it really makes people mad. And that's what we need. We need people to be mad for the 2014 elections so we can have a Republican Senate.
Yeah, Joe, I couldn't agree with you more. The idea you would think with the Obama administration would be to take the edge off this thing a bit and not come off, right? So I think your analysis is spot on. I've watched him on everything from Megyn Kelly to the Sunday show yesterday, and it's almost like an in-your-face, yeah, we lied to you, but, you better just eat it and accept it kind of a deal.
Listen, this has such a feel of the old Soviet Union about it, and I'm not calling the guy a communist. I'm just calling him a nut. Right. This is like the old days when Lavrenti Beria used to run the Secret Service in the Soviet Union. They just did whatever they want, and that's what they did with this legislation. And they're so tone deaf. They are so arrogant. They're so much believe in themselves and have such self-confidence that they think it's a good idea to send out this nutbag. I mean, he really is bad medicine in every sense of the word for Obamacare, which, by the way, somebody on MSNBC yesterday told us that Obamacare is now the new N-word. Can you believe that stuff? That's how desperate they are.
Hey, Joe, I'm drawing a blank here, but who was that guy at Baghdad? Remember when you hit
Baghdad Bob.
Yeah, Baghdad Bob. And
Baghdad Bob.
We're winning this war. This is going great. But you know what? And people kind of mocked him. It was almost like funny. But I agree with you, not to beat up this topic to death, but he is just so arrogant and angry and confrontational.
Baghdad Bob at least had a personality. We knew it was funny. And
Saturday Night Live covered him, remember?
This guy, he's beyond a true believer. This guy apparently has a blood condition about Obamacare where he actually can't say anything else about it. I mean, he has lost all logic and the notion that you can justify saying you can keep your doctor. You're just going to have to pay 5 times the amount you used to keep it.
So it's not true that you can keep your health care plan if you like your health care plan. It's not true that you can keep your doctor if you like your doctor. And as we reported a little earlier, it's also not true that if you like your hospital, you can keep your hospital. There's nothing about this that's true.
Listen, this is the old apparatchik modality of the old Soviet Union. They are going to continue to tell lies because they have the power to do so. The difference is, however, is finally it's beginning to sink into the body politic that this was an amazing lie to the American people and a series of lies. And remember, all of these ideas started with Henry Waxman from California. This piece of legislation has been in Henry Waxman's desk for 30 years over in the House.
Right.
And they just decided they were going to shove it through. I just pray that they keep sending Dr. Emanuel out. He will do more damage than anything any of us can say or do.
And it's just fun to say Ezekiel. Okay, Maryland Health Exchange Director. Oh, no, this is the story I want to get. D.C. council members are proposing that non-citizens, people who have green cards and have lived in the district, are you ready for this? 30 days, should be able to vote in local elections.
Well, I think what this is, first of all, they can do this legally. States and municipalities have the right for local elections under the Constitution to declare who can vote. There's no Supreme Court law on this. For federal elections, you have to be a citizen in order to vote. That's the law. But for state and local elections, there is no law. Now, if they do this, what they are doing is there's no way that the District of Columbia should ever be a state anyway. 62 square miles of nothing with nothing but government at its root should never be a state. But if you think this is going to aid the district in its relationship with Capitol Hill by having permanent residents who have no right to vote under federal law voting in local elections, I mean, they go ahead and do it. It's just going to make the district the laughingstock of the United States once again. And it's very, very sad, because what it shows is how they have little to do with their time at the district council. This is an incompetent, idiotic proposal. It's an insult to people who come here from all over the world, become citizens the right way, go through the process, stand in line, study, take an oath, and then they get to vote. If you don't have to be a citizen to vote, why should you be a citizen?
Joe, and their logic about this was insane. Well, I heard one of them saying, well, the road conditions and things like that affect these folks as well. No one's saying they don't, but, the school conditions affect 9 and 10-year-olds as well. Does that mean that they should vote?
Well, the road conditions are everybody who drives into the district, if they live in Virginia,
of course.
They're impacted by that.
Right. Well, listen. If I get the flu, that affects everybody, too. Maybe I should be able to vote in D.C. just because I got the flu here.
Right. I mean, the whole idea, Joe, is that there's a price to citizenship. It's earned. People have, died. Men and women have died for the right to.
This is the Noam Chomsky left-wing nutbag school of government. These folks, they care about one thing. They want more votes for the Democratic Party. Make no mistake about it.
Yep.
This is pure.
Well, they see the demographics changing in the District of Columbia, and they want to make these adjustments now.
Of course, it's becoming more gentrified.
Yep.
Folks are moving to Prince George's County, where they can buy a decent home and live in comfort, as opposed to the confines of the District of Columbia. So now they need illegal immigrants and permanent residents to be voters. This is really a pathetic display of bad government from the so-called good government people.
All right, we got to leave it there. Joe DiGenova, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Joe.
Take care, guys.